Hey there, happy Monday. Welcome to The Hash on CoinDesk TV. I am Zach Seward. I am joined today by Will Foxley, Jen Sanasi, and Christy Harkin. We are here to tell you what's going on in the world of crypto and more, and we are going to start with some rumored acquisition talks over with Will. Will's going to start us off. Go for it.
Oh, that's right. I'm starting off this Monday. Happy Monday to everyone, by the way. Good to see you guys.
Happy Monday.
Hey. Good to see you.
I know. Just rested and relaxed.
And ready to talk some news. So let's talk about Coinbase, which is looking to get into the Latin American market. We've seen a few different crypto companies start gobbling up financial companies like incumbents or traditional financial companies. And here we see that Coinbase is actually going for another competitor just in the Latin American market. They're looking at taking on 2TM's Mercado Bitcoin, which is a Brazilian-based exchange with about 3.2 million customers as of 2021. So this would be a huge addition for Coinbase, which obviously dominates the United States market. They went public last year in a direct listing, and adding all these clients to their war chest would mean that they have basically doubled their target market, or at least getting close to that. Because I don't think, Zach can probably correct me on this, but Coinbase has a decent amount of customers, but adding this many would definitely significantly add how many customers they can reach. Significantly also hear that Mercado Bitcoin is moving into other markets in Latin America, including Argentina and throughout South America and Latin America. This was a nice report because it also talked about how Binance and some other crypto exchanges are moving to the area too, picking up some traditional and incumbent financial players. Zach, throw it up to you, though, for your take. This is a pretty interesting story to start the week.
Yeah, if this comes to pass, I think it's really interesting. I think Latin American crypto has really popped off in the last year. And I think incumbents in the space are looking to expand their footprint there by whatever means necessary. So if this were to come to pass, it'd be a pretty high value acquisition. The rumored price here is rather large, and it would give Coinbase a stronger foothold in that region. We've seen a ton of venture capital investing go into the Latin American crypto exchange scene. So this seems to be sort of maybe potentially, if this comes to pass again, probably the cleanest way for Coinbase to expand its footprint in a major way in that region as crypto excitement down there grows. I'll toss this straight to Christy, though, for her thoughts. I don't know if other similar acquisitions may be afoot. We've seen sort of this geographical focus emerge out of FTX, spinning up wings in Europe and different geographies. Interesting to see this one, but yeah, we'll see if this one comes to pass. But curious for your thoughts, Christy.
I just like the sort of the taking on Binance's role in Latin America. Like, Binance made the move, and now Coinbase is just right in there going, yeah, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. And they are, as you said, it's not just that they're taking a small little business over and hoping to grow it. They've got something that's already in the works, something that's already big and has a lot of different properties. New Bank, the MB Digital Assets, BitTrust, Blockchain Academy, Mesopro. Like, there's a lot of stuff under that umbrella that they have, ready to go now. And nothing like starting sort of halfway up the mountain if you're trying to get somewhere. So yeah, Jen?
Yeah, we've talked a lot on the show about crypto adoption in South and Central America, right? And if you look at the rising rate of inflation, which we've spoken a lot about, and some of the corrupt financial systems, I think it's just really smart for Coinbase to be playing there in an acquisition like this. Both Zach and Will, you both kind of mentioned everything I wanted to say about it. 2TM's plans to grow with acquisitions in Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Mexico all make sense to me. The article talks about Binance and Coinbase. And Zach, to your point, I was surprised to not see FTX mentioned in the article, especially because they have kind of been the king of acquisitions. Every time we talk about acquisitions, there's something to be said about FTX. And so I wonder if we'll see FTX enter the region soon to show Coinbase and Binance that, they have a South American strategy as well. And I'm just interested to see what comes from them, if anything.
Cool. I'm with you there. I think this is a huge market that has been basically unaddressed to date. I think just an aside really quickly, a lot of people are very focused on the United States and Western Europe for the most part, but that's not a lot of where the crypto market should be. If you think of crypto as like peer-to-peer money, and you look at some of these countries that are developing economies, It's a lot where crypto is going to boom. So it's smart that Coinbase and Binance are pouring money into these markets. Like last week, we talked about Africa, talked about how there's been a lot of peer-to-peer money exchanges there. Useful Tulips is a great data website. People can go look up and see trading volumes between peer-to-peer people on exchanges. Off the charts compared to other countries. And so Coinbase and Binance coming in and capturing that peer-to-peer trading and making it more frictionless for people to get involved. Pretty smart move. That's my final take on it. I think it's a pretty smart move. We'll move to Zach for the next story.
All right, we'll stay in the wider realm of crypto exchanges, and this one we'll talk about is Kraken. Now, Kraken has a banking subsidiary, and they are sort of seeking parity with existing financial institutions, and they got this weird little arcane stamp of approval that gets them one step closer to making this happen. The ABA, the American Bankers Association, gave Kraken Bank a routing number over the weekend, and CoinDesk's Nicholas Day reported on that on Saturday, I believe it was. So funny here, I think that, crypto exchanges, as they become a bigger and bigger player, they seek, traditional banking rails. And this is something that is not just unique to Kraken. Other people are vying for this space as well. But this is a key milestone, as it were, in making Kraken into a bank as well as a crypto exchange. So interesting little development. Again, a bit procedural, but definitely a sign of things to come in the crypto exchange space. I'm going to toss this one straight to Will. Kraken moving forward with its plans to establish a regulated bank. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is exactly what we talked about last week when they announced our new CFO hire, right? What we were thinking there was like they're going to move towards an IPO or some sort of public listing in the near future. This obviously isn't the same ballpark of conversation. That would have more to do with them getting like capital money and going live in New York, whatnot. But it's in the same realm of the maturation with these crypto exchanges. Just like we're talking about with Coinbase and Binance, where they're already grabbing different markets, we're seeing here is Kraken taking on different elements of the financial economy and adding into its repertoire of skill sets already, right? So once you're inside the house and you have the ability to tap into this Federal Reserve System, you have so many more benefits. You're much more trusted within the financial system, and you'll just be generally better off than all your competitors. And then we've seen Kraken take a few different approaches than other people. Most interestingly, the top of that article says Wyoming-based Kraken. It's not, Coinbase isn't based there, Binance isn't based there. A lot of these other exchanges are not based there. But Kraken went ahead and took advantage of some laws that Wyoming passed a few years ago that enabled this special development bank to be built. Kraken is building out that bank too. They're becoming almost like a crypto merchant bank. They're taking advantage of these laws that other people don't, so they can benefit and have that competing edge against what is Coinbase and Binance, which are far larger companies at this point. So to me, this just seems to be like another mark or another notch on the belt for where they're going. They're going to continue to be this very focused and very competitive financial company that is very much like the other traditional financial companies that we see out there that have ties with like the traditional system. But on the flip side, they're also like empowering their users to do crypto things. They have like a very tech heavy setup where you can do like ETH2 validation. They're also moving towards an IPO. So across the front, like pretty bullish on Kraken, I guess, is like my long point or my short point to my long answer. But in general, what they're talking about here is pretty important for them to become competitive with the financial banking system. Jen, I'll throw it over to you for your take.
Well, first of all, I never thought that routing numbers could be so exciting. I was like, wow, I always thought routing numbers was just this like boring part of banking. But I read this morning and I was really excited. Okay, Zach, the article mentions this tiered process, right? And it sounded really innovative to me. So I'm just going to read the last paragraph of the article here. It says, federally insured eligible institutions would be subject to a less intensive review and placed in the first tier. Tier 2 institutions would be supervised by a federal bank regulator, but not necessarily be federally insured. And the third tier, which would generally receive the strictest level of review, would include firms that are not federally insured or supervised by a federal entity. And the financial system, like banks, they're so slow moving. I've said that on the show before. And to read that this tiered system is now in place for companies like Kraken felt like a very innovative move to me. I don't know, Zach, if you have any more information on that system. Has it been put in place, or is this something that they're still just talking about?
This may or may not be related to the OCC thing. So we've seen banks like Anchorage, well, not banks, but crypto custodians like Anchorage and others apply for banking charters that sort of, again, put them on firm footing when it comes to attracting significant deposits. And when we're talking about courting institutional customers, this becomes a nice quiver in the bone in the quiver. That's it. Boom, nailed it. People are moving to this, whether it's Avanti, which is now a new thing, by the way. Caitlin Long's Avanti Bank is called something else now. So there's different experiments and different sort of, again, regulatory frameworks that these crypto firms are courting as they look to, again, attract with trust and confidence these big pocketed projects that may or may not be committing large sums into the crypto economy for the first time. So I think that's kind of what's going on here. Again, some of the minutia of banking regulations is not exactly in my wheelhouse, but Nick here in this piece does a great job of unpacking that a bit, and it's interesting to see. I think that's pretty much it for this one. Does anyone have any final thoughts? Christy, final thoughts about Kraken?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I mean, one of the things that I was reading in the article was just how it still seems a little tentative. It's unconfirmed, or like we know there's a routing number, but that doesn't mean necessarily as much as people think it means. Like there's still a lot of process that has to happen, and it's exciting, but we all maybe need to hold back our enthusiasm because it's not yet a sure thing. Am I right in that?
I will never hold back enthusiasm.
Hyper.
This is bullish. This is hugely bullish for Bitcoin.
This is huge. I don't know what
you're talking about. Rocket emojis times 100. This is so bullish. No, your call for moderation, I think, is absolutely spot on. But certainly, I think, again, interesting signal of where things are headed for sure.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a break. When we get back, we're going to go to the Metaverse. The Metaverse Fashion Week. We are going to strut our stuff in Decentraland as others have done over the weekend with big name music acts and more. So stick with us. It's The Hash. We'll talk to you after this break.
So we've got something that is not about exchanges. We're going to talk about the executive order on ensuring responsible development on digital assets, because the White House is inviting comment on crypto's energy use and environmental impact. We've heard an awful lot lately about how we're trying to minimize the carbon footprint of digital assets. And there are a lot of regulators who are really, really freaked out by it. And fortunately, we now have a chance to actually have a discussion and to possibly educate the White House on what it is that is actually the case for digital assets and the environment. So there's going to be a report submitted to the president that examines the potential for digital assets to impede or advance efforts. And I love the fact that they are actually acknowledging it can advance efforts to tackle climate change and the transition to a clean and reliable energy grid. They are inviting interested stakeholders, including the public. In particular, it's looking to talk to people involved with protocols, hardware, resources, economics, and other factors that shape the energy use and climate impacts of all types of digital assets. And it is acknowledging the fact that there are possible trajectories for benefits as well as things that, we don't want. All of this will happen. All the comments are welcome until May 9th, and they will be reported to the president. And hopefully that will have an impact on how regulators and policymakers approach crypto. So this I don't know. I'm seeing it as a positive thing for Bitcoin, and I'm seeing it as a positive thing for digital assets in general. What do you think, Will?
I don't have a ton of thoughts on this because it doesn't seem like there's anything quite there yet. I listened to a recent podcast, What Bitcoin Did. I forget the guest's name they had on, but it was a White House advisor, or at least a member of the government that helps advise the White House. And his point was like, now they're in the stepping stones, or like gathering information, talking to industry, writing reports, setting up the food chain. And it's going to be like that for like the next 6 months to 12 months. Nothing is going to really happen. These executive orders are basically just telling the pencil pushers to start putting pad to paper, or a pencil to paper, and start writing things up for people to understand. So I'm pretty hesitant on saying this is going to lead to anything at the moment. I think last administration, we definitely saw some more bearish takes on it, where Steve Mnuchin, who was the former Treasury Secretary, tried to rush in some last-minute legislation. CoinDesk had some nice pieces about that. That doesn't seem to be what this administration is doing. They are taking notice of crypto right now, and how could you not, with what's been going on in Ukraine, what's been going on with oil and gas and Bitcoin, and what's been going on with proof of work and Bitcoin and energy sector. And these narratives are all across multiple headlines, multiple news desks. So you can't dismiss it, but they don't really be seeming to like knee jerk quite yet. So pretty mild take for you there, but Jen, I'll give it to you.
Christy, I'm enthusiastic about this. I think, we've seen these very sensational headlines that are used by the government and regulators when it comes to comparing crypto's energy usage to the energy usage of small countries, even though the two are not correlated. I wish George was here because he would get so fired up about this. And now that the White House is taking time, welcoming the public, welcoming anyone to come forth, I really hope that there are use cases and valuable information that is more relevant than we've seen come out prior that can actually be put to use. And so I'm enthusiastic, and I hope that this is a good thing for crypto. But if we look at what's happened in the past, after the government has looked at information from the public or from leaders in the space, it has kind of been a whole lot of nothing. But I really hope that this gets the ball rolling. Zach, did I see your hand go up?
Yeah, just a quick thought before we change gears. I just think that this is like, it's proof of work scrutiny season, right? We saw this in the EU, and we're going to see this potentially in the US. I think it's interesting that, again, crypto flew under the radar for a long time. Now it's on the radar of regulators, both here and abroad. All right, let's change gears. Who's talking about Metaverse stuff? Who's doing it?
Always Jen. NFTs or Metaverse is Jen.
I think we need a Metaverse minute on this show.
I think we need a Metaverse minute on this show.
I think we need a wardrobe budget. I'm wearing the same thing in that video. So if anyone
You have to retire
is listening,
Control.
yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Everything to do with the Metaverse and NFTs, as Will said, with that very scrutinous look.
Condescending, actually.
Condescending. Thank you for helping me with my words on my first day back. All right. Metaverse Fashion Week has come and gone. So 70 established brands showcase their latest digital styles in Decentraland. Brands like Estee Lauder, Dolce & Gabbana, and Forever 21 showcase their NFTs meant to express your online self. So the event took place in the fashion district owned by the Metaverse Group, who purchased the 6,000 square foot plot for $2.4 million last year. Now, disclosure was startup I co-founded is working with Metaverse Group, so just have to throw that in there. But this is exciting and I think strange to see come to fruition if we look at February of last year when the world was just learning about NFTs. So, Christy, I'm going to pass this down to you. Did you attend Metaverse Fashion Week by any chance?
God, no. No. I'm sorry. I'm just not, I don't know. Maybe I'm too, old Gen X, and I just don't, For me, I would rather spend the money on something I can actually wear in real life at this point. I don't care about my avatar. I just, I'm fine with I am absolutely 100% fine with the default settings. I go to the Metaverse to look around and interact with people. And honestly, the Metaverse has not, like the idea of spending actual money and spending more on a pair of fake shoes for my fake avatar to wear rather than go out and buy a pair of shoes I can actually be comfortable in and walk around. Yeah, no, it's just not for me. I've also spoken with one of our reporters, Will Gutzine, who's going to be writing about it later today. And, the experience of being there, like he fell off a building. I've
heard about a lot of people falling at Fashion Week.
Falling. Yeah, they just
yachts, off of buildings.
Yeah, he said he spent a bunch of time jumping up and down trying to, interact with people. The experience isn't there yet for me, and I would rather be able to actually interact with people in the Metaverse and learn things and do things that are expanding on this real world rather than imitating it in a janky fashion. So that's my take on that. And I'm old and get off my lawn. So yeah, I don't know, Zach.
I hung out with Will on Friday in Decentraland. We did some jumping and some talking, and we were talking about whether the Metaverse is more or less alienating than the regular internet, and we weren't really quite sure where we landed on that, right? It sort of does feel different. I mean, you're in there and you're like interacting with your computer in a different way. So there is something to be said for that. But yeah, beyond us jumping up and down and asking other people to jump with us, the limits of the experience were on full display. I don't know. I'm still optimistic about it. It gets me in my feels when I go in the Metaverse. I think I feel different when I'm interacting in these virtual environments. And I think that might be appealing to someone who, I don't know, spends a lot of time online like we all do. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting to see. I think the incentives, going and get like whatever the rareable like free drip zone, right? Like some of that incentive stuff, I think is cool as it relates to being able to own some of these things that you may not even have to spend on, right? You just get them dropped, or you do like you do a trivial exercise and you get this thing, kind of like the POAP badges or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna throw back to Jen. I'm throwing it to you. Take it away.
Okay. Yeah. So I think about why people go to Fashion Week, right? And I think the traditional person who goes to Fashion Week goes to show off their outfits. They go to be photographed. They go for the networking aspect. They want to go to all of the most exclusive events. And so it will be interesting to see how this translates into a digital world. I think this is going to bring a new and different audience to Fashion Week who could not or would not have gone to the physical Fashion Week. And I think the younger people, as I always say, who are playing Fortnite or Roblox, this is the kind of Fashion Week experience that they are going to want to attend when they are older. And I think that what we're going to see as the Metaverse becomes more developed and less janky, Christy, as you said, there's going to be this like IRL and Metaverse kind of mix for all events, not just Fashion Week. And it'll be interesting to see how the brands that participated, like I know some participated more than others in Fashion Week, but how traditional brands evolve and develop and how their teams change to really build this out. So I think it's exciting, but I think everything is exciting. So I digress. Zach?
There's a Grimes DJ set that I didn't watch in real life, but I watched a little bit on YouTube today. I was like, okay, this is cool. Anyway.
It's pretty lit.
All right, that's it for the show today. We're the Hash. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to CoinDesk TV. Hope your Monday's going well. I'm Zach. That's Will, Christy, Jen. We're all here on your screen in not the Metaverse just yet.
But kinda.
Not yet.
But you never know. You never know. You never know what's in store.
There's a show, remote location in Decentraland.
Yeah, we could. Set up a studio. We'll get to work on that.
Well,
get out the gear. All right, Will. Go back to doing your Bitcoin mining stuff. I'll
just be a bouncing egg.
It'll be fun. All right. See you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
See ya.
See you tomorrow.